Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and greeting to everyone that are watching this speaker corner from Faculty of Agriculture. I am Muhammad Firdaus bin Khairul Hafiz, moderator for this episode. Before that, I would like to introduce our panel today, which is Syamsibar Amiruddin, taking program of Bachelor Science Plantation Management and second year student. So the topic that he will be sharing today is about drip irrigation. So without wasting many time, please welcome Mr. Syamsibar to give sharing.
Thank you, my brother Muhammad Firdaus, as a moderator today. So, today I will share to you about drip irrigation system. So, firstly, I will introduce myself. My name is Syamsibar. I am from Bachelor of Science Plantation Management, second year student. So, when we talk about irrigation, so when we have planted our crops like vegetables, soft fruit, or anything crops, we need to irrigate the our crop, right? So this method is the one of the method that are very suitable for any crops. So without wasting um, time, let's go to the next slide about the definition of drip irrigation. So for the definition, I will read to you. First, uh, drip irrigation is sometimes called trickle irrigation and involves dripping water onto the soil at very low rates. The rate is about 2 until to 20 liters per hour from a system of small diameter plastic pipes fitted with outlets called emitter or drippers. Water is applied close to plants so that only part of the soil in which the roots grow is wetted, unlike surface and sprinkler irrigation, which involve wetting the whole soil profile. With drip irrigation water, applications are more frequent. It is usually every 1 to 3 days than with other methods, and this provides a very favorable high moisture level in the soil in which plants can flourish. So let's move on to the next slide. So as you can see in the figure, uh, as you can see the wetted root zone by the when you use drip irrigation system, um, from the lateral pipe it will connected with the emitter or a dripper, and it will irrigate the root zone of the crops. So we let's go to the next slide. So when to use drip irrigation, we when we want to use drip when before we want to use drip irrigation, we need to consider four types of condition. The first one is suitable crops. So for your information, drip irrigation is suitable for for most most crops, especially row crops like vegetables and soft fruit. So but generally we need to use the suitable one, the suitable crops that we need to use drip irrigation is high value crops, because it is very we will use very high cost when use the drip irrigation. Next, suitable slopes. Drip irrigation is adaptable to any farmable slopes. Normally, the crop will be planted along contour lines and water supplies pipes. This is done to minimize changes in emitter discharge as a result of land elevation change. Next is suitable soils. For your information, drip irrigation is suitable for most soils. On clay soils, water must be applied slowly to avoid surface water ponding or runoff. And for the sandy soils, the higher discharge of water need because, as you know, sandy soil have a low water holding capacity. And lastly is suitable irrigation water. This irrigation system is one mainly problem is it is easy to blockage at the emitters because all the emitters have very small waterways ranging from 0.2 to 2.0 millimeter. So it is easy to block it when the water is not very clean. So this is essential to for the irrigation water will this is essential water to be clean from the sediments or any substance that can block the emitter. Okay, let's go to the next slide. uh, okay, the next is about drip system layout. A typical drip irrigation system is shown in figure 1 and consists of the following components. The first one is pump unit, control head, main and sub-main lines, lateral, and lastly emitters or drippers. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So as you can see in the figure 1, this is a drip irrigation system layout for the part uh, A, B, C, and D in the figure. It is various types of emitters, and the parts of A, E, F, G, and H is control heads. So the function of every component, um, I will tell you. The first one is pump units. The function of pump unit is to take water from the source and provides the right pressure for the delivery into the pipe system. Next is control head. Head is consists of many small components and other components that support the control head. For example, we have for we have a nutrient tank, pressure regulator, valve, and main filter, and many others components. So every components play an important role in the control head. So the function of control head is it has a valve to control the discharge and pressure in the entire system. It also have a filter, as you can see in the figure. It have a filter to filter and clean the water. It also have a special component which is nutrient tank and nutrient tank and fertilizer. So this is one of the advantage of drip irrigation system. When we irrigate our crops by using this irrigation system, we also can include fertilizer and also other nutrient to our crops um, directly with the water. Okay. So the next component is main and sub-main lines, as you can see in the figure. Uh, this the function of main line, sub-main line, and laterals is to supply water from the control head into the field. So the user the pipes of the submain, main, and the lateral pipe is usually made of polyethylene and PVC. The last component is emitters or drippers. These are the device that we use to control the discharge of water from the laterals to the plants. So, at the plants, as you can see, we can use 1 meter apart with one we can space 1 meter apart for the emitter or dripper when we use it at a single plant such as tree. For row crops, we can for row crops we need to use more closely spaced emitters to wet the soil. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Uh, okay. The next part of the drip irrigation system is the wetting patterns. As you can see, figure 3.1, wetting patterns for sand and clay soil with high and low discharge rates. Okay, for this figure, it is for the sandy soil. As you can see in the figure, uh, the wetted zone, when we use high discharge of water, is more spacious in the soil. But when we use the low discharge of water, the wetted zone is more tighter deep into the soil. So it is more narrow lah than uh, high discharge of water. This is because sandy soil have low water holding capacity, so that the what when we irrigate our crops, it will easily run off or leaching into the deep into the soil. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide for the next wetting pattern. Okay, the next wetting pattern is for the clay soils at the high discharge of water and low discharge of water. So as you can see in the figure 3.2, when we use high discharge of water, the wetted zone is um, more spacious, more spacious. That means it will cover more space in the soil. When we use the low discharge of water from the emitter or dripper, the as you can see in the figure, the wetting zone is um, slightly more um, narrow from the highly discharge of water. So this is because clay soils have a high water holding capacity. So when we irrigate our crops, the water will not easily run off or leaching into the deep part of the soil. Hmm, Although only part of the root zone is wetted, it is still important to meet the full water needs of the crop. It is sometimes thought that drip irrigation saves water by reducing the amount used by the crop. Crop water use is not changed by the method of applying water, but crop just require the right amount of good drop. Drip irrigation is not a substitute for other proven methods of irrigation. It is just another way of applying water. It is best suited to areas where water quality is marginal, land is steepy, sloping, or undulating, and of poor quality, where water or labor are expensive, or where high value crops require frequent water application. So I think uh, that's all from me. I think I will end the sharing session. for the drip irrigation system. Thank you for your um, thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Syamsibar, for the wonderful sharing of knowledge today. I hope everyone can get acquire some new knowledge and on and perspective on this interesting topic. So therefore, I will end this episode by wishing everyone have a good day and good luck. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.